This is the new Audi A1 and it's a bit like Polo fruit in the way that actually underneath the skin it's pretty much identical to a Volkswagen Polo, which would be the plain old mint, whereas this, yes, it's way more fruity and therefore exciting. Obviously you do have to pay for that though. It's a bit more expensive than the Volkswagen Polo. It starts from £18,500, but as you can see, you can save almost £1,000 on one through carwow. So if you want to see how much you can save on any new car, click on the pop-out banner in the top right-hand corner of the screen to go to carwow. Let's start this review by talking about the design, because I think this new A1 is a really good looking car, especially in this S-Line trim, because you have some extra sporty bits and pieces. I also like the two-tone bodywork. This blue paint is lovely, it looks great. The good news is that when you step inside, you're not left feeling disappointed. It lives up to the exterior. Look at the design of the dash. It's really cool. I like the way this part angles away from you, then this angles towards you. The shapes around the instrument binnacle, that's cool as well. I like this metallic trim here. Though I have noticed that there's a little chip out of this bit here. It wasn't me. Well, I'm not so keen on those, this look. Scratchy plastics on the door. I mean, that feels really budget. It's no worse than in a VW Polo, but it is a bit of a shame because this is a more expensive car. Still on the dash, you've got soft touch materials. And the best bit is that as standard, right across the range, you get digital instruments. They look really smart, very clear. You can change the displays actually to make them look more sporty or less sporty. Cycle through different menus and actually change the size of the dials and the size of the sat-nav mapping on there. Lovely. What's also lovely is the main central screen as well. It's quite easy to use. You can just flick through the different menus like that. It doesn't click or vibrate when you press it like your mobile phone does, but it responds as fast as your mobile phone. Now I should point out though that this screen on this car is the upgraded version. It's slightly larger and it gets inbuilt satellite navigation. You don't really need it because it's about 1,500 quid extra. Now that does include wireless charging for your mobile phone, which my mobile phone doesn't have, and some other bits and pieces as well. I wouldn't bother with the upgraded system. The normal one has a decent enough screen. Also, you can just run Android Auto, Apple CarPlay and your own mapping from your phone through the screen, so you don't really need the sat-nav, although you do miss out on the fact that you don't have sat-nav then in the instrument binnacle, but hey, I can live with that. Now, if you want to see what this infotainment system is actually like for an in-depth review of it and another look around this car's cabin, click on the pop-out banner just up there, top right-hand corner of the screen, my in-depth infotainment video review. Now, moving on. Layout of everything in here is dead simple. It's classic Audi actually. So you've got your climate controls there, very easy to use. You've got some other buttons there for the drive select, which is different driving modes. Down here, you've got USB input there. There's USB-C. How modern is that? However, if you're feeling a bit more old-fashioned, there's good old 12-volt if you need to charge something like an old-fashioned sat-nav. In terms of the driving position, it's really very good. There's lots of adjustment in the steering wheel. Look at that. You can jack the driver's seat all the way up, so if you're smaller, you can get a good view out. There's enough headroom for that. But the problem I have is if you're really tall and you like to sit nice and low, this one just doesn't quite go low enough. It could do with dropping by an extra inch. Another thing that's slightly annoying is this, like the controller for the electric door mirrors. It's very fiddly to get at that. You need small hands like Donald Trump. Another thing that's a bit annoying is when you've got the gear lever up there, it's hard to reach the volume control for the stereo as well. You have to do a bit of a reach around the knob. Can't believe I said that. And you will actually want to use that because you're going to want to turn up the volume if you've got the upgraded Bang & Olufsen sound system. It sounds really good. The weird thing is though, it comes as part of a comfort pack, which also includes heated seats and parking sensors. Now I wouldn't put those three together, an uprated stereo, heated seats and parking sensors. Odd. Anyway, that pack costs £995. So if you want it, you're going to want to save as much as you can on the initial purchase price. So I put this car's details into the carwow configurator. So it's a 1 litre, 115 horsepower version of the A1 with Sportline, automatic gearbox. Would normally cost about £22,500, but I got an offer back saving just over £800 when buying on PCP finance. So that'll pretty much pay for that extra pack, won't it? Let's talk about storage finally. So it's all right. You've got a couple of cup holders here. There's actually a little one in the middle, which is perfect for an espresso cup. And there's just enough space under here for your sugar, for your coffee. There's that storage tray that I've already shown you. You've also got a little drawer underneath the driver's seat where you can keep your fruit and normal polos if you'd like. The glove box, it's an all right size, nothing too special, but the door bins are really large. Ta-da, look at that. Impressive, huh? Right, Let's go to the back. Here in the back, the rear door bins are really big as well. In fact, they're pretty much as big as in the front. As for passenger space, well look, if I sit up dead straight, still got all right headroom, decent knee room. It's reasonably spacious back here for a small car. In fact, people over 6 foot will be fine. Carrying 3 in the back at once though, not so great. You have to lift your leg over that lump in the floor. And then, look, I'm hitting my head on the roof here. 3 kids in the back will be all right though. What they might not like so much is the fact that the window ledge is quite high, so it's harder to get a view out. And if you put the window down, you'll see it only goes down this far. Another thing worth mentioning, you've got a speaker right up there by your ear. Now that might be a good thing if you love music, or it might be a bad thing. You could end up with tinnitus. Some other things worth mentioning are the fact that, look, you've got a little coat hook there, which I'm going to have to demonstrate by taking my coat off. Could be really laborious, the way you all click out the video. So yeah, look, coat hook there. And I quite like this. You've got padded pockets on the seat back, so you can slide an iPad in there even if you haven't got a screen protector on it. It won't damage it. What's not so great though is the fact that there's no kind of charging sockets back here. So if you want to charge people's iPads or device in the back, you're probably going to have to bring some of those battery packs along. There's no armrest either. Look, no. Another thing that's annoying is this. Look, it's really hard to remove the Isofix covers. Yeah, and once you've removed them, you might just lose them. Fitting a child seat is all right in the back. There is just about enough room to manoeuvre it. Watch this. There's hardly any wheel arch intrusion, so you really can just slide out. The only problem is that this roof line is quite low for the back, so taller people might just bang their head. Just worth noting, I think. Okay, right. The boot. While it is actually a decent size, you know, for a small car, it's pretty much as big as it gets, and there's no load lip really to lift stuff over, which is great. Well, I say there's no load lip, that's if you have the optional convenience or storage pack. I think it's only about 50 quid, and it includes this net, which is good for tying stuff down, but it also, I'll just have to undo this, it also includes this adjustable boot floor, which you can raise and lower, so it gives some extra storage underneath there. You'll probably notice actually, this car has a space saver spare wheel. Once again, an optional extra, but it's not too expensive, and I'd say it's worth having. There's some tethering points there, which you saw that the net was attached to. We've got some hooks there you can hang your shopping bags off, so all your bits and pieces don't roll about the cabin. I should show you this as well, look. That just stays up there because you've got these little catches for it to attach to. Now if you want to carry longer items, of course, I have to move my coat out of the way. Just give us a sec. Longer items. There we go. Put this back on. As you see, you've got quite a big load area there, and it's nice and flat, so you can quite easily slide things to the front like that. Now, for more information on this car's practicality, click on the pop-out banner, top right on the screen, just up there. Just my detailed practicality review, show you just how big the boot is, what you can fit in it, what it's like with 3 adults in the back of this car, and how easy it is to fit a child seat. Now then, it's time for the Car Wow 5 annoying things about this car. When you're driving along past trees, you get their reflections just flickering in this gloss trim, and it's like really distracting. They're not quite as distracting as the window camera while you're driving. There are quite a lot of fake plastic vents on this car, as I'll demonstrate now with the Car Wow stick of truth. So look, fake, these here, fake. They're like on the Hyundai Kona though, not quite so tacky. The thing that bothers me the most is this big swathe of plastic here, this vent, which is also fake. I quite like the look of the sporty side skirts, but they actually stick out a bit further at the back, so when you get out of the rear, you end up rubbing the backs of your legs on them, and then your trousers are all covered in dirt. It's a bit annoying because I've got to wear the same trousers for the next few days for continuity. Because there's no runner or guide or holder for the rear seat belt, when you pull down the back seat, well, it doesn't snag. When you put the seat back, you can see that the seat belt is then kind of caught behind the seat. So you have to do that, which is unnecessary. If you'd like an armrest, which I'm sure you probably would, you have to pay extra for it. It's £150. In fact, there's quite a few options fit to this car. And in total, according to the spec sheet from Audi, it comes to £30,000. all the more reason to check out how much you can save on carwow, I think.
Don't worry, there's still plenty to like about this car. Here's the carwow 5 cool features.
Check this out. You need to remove the load cover. Don't worry, you can keep it in the car still. It fits neatly under the false floor. I love it when that happens. With the £150 optional ambient lighting pack, you can choose from 30 different colours for the lighting on the dash or on the doors, and you can go for like purple colours, there's blues, there's greens, there's yellows, there's oranges, reds, or just plain. This little button on the steering wheel is customisable, so when you go into the main infotainment system, you can assign it one of 7 different functions. So I'm going to set it to switch between radio and media, and now when I press that, it switches between radio and media without me faffing around. It's just a shame you can't assign more functions to it. If you don't want your car's manual to take up room in the glove box, there's a special storage drawer for it here, just under the front passenger seat. Perfect. There's Isofix anchor points on the front passenger seat, which is ideal if you want to carry a child seat here in the front. Listen. That was it. Secure in there, look. Safe. This little A1 is nice and easy to drive in town. So the body's quite small, so it's easy to tell where the corners are so you don't damage it. The only issue I have is that you do get a bit of a blind spot from that huge rear pillar. So when you're like looking over your shoulder to pull out filter junctions, it can be quite awkward. In terms of the rest of the experience, well, the steering is nice and light, it's precise. Also, this is the automatic, and so it changes gears for you, so yeah, it's easier in town. Though sometimes it can be a bit clunky and jerky at lower speeds. Also, if you're just in normal drive mode, not sports mode for the gearbox, and you put your foot down, look, foot down, now taking off. That delay can be a bit of a pain when you're pulling away at junctions. In terms of the suspension, how it deals with bumps, well, if you have the normal car, the SE on smaller wheels, say 16 inches, it's very, very good. This is the S line, so you have lowered, stiffened sport suspension, and it's got 17-inch alloys, and as a result, you do feel the bumps a bit more. It's not terrible, just not as comfy as it could be. And annoyingly, unlike with some other Audi cars, you can't have the S line with the softer suspension. Damn it, Audi. As a result, I don't think it's quite as comfy maybe as a Volkswagen Polo, but there's really not much in it. Now, when you get out on the motorway, this little A1 feels like a bigger car, and that's because you don't get that much noise entering the cabin. It's really quiet. Also, the engine's they're more than up to the job. So I've got a 1-litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol. It's got plenty of punch. I do 0 to 60 in less than 10 seconds. Economy-wise, I'm getting almost 45 miles per gallon. The only issue I have with it is that when you do thrash it, it can feel a little bit rough. You can get some other engines though. There's a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder which is smoother and has more performance. You can also get a 2 litre which is really quite quick, but it's quite expensive to buy that car. So really, I think this 1 litre does suit this A1 the best. When you leave the motorway and head out onto a twisty road, this A1 is pretty good. It doesn't have the same darty, fun feeling that you get from a Mini, but it's sure-footed, it goes where you point it. It doesn't lean over too much through the bends. It's all just very safe and secure and sensible. And that's all you need it to be. If you want to see how much you can save on a new Audi A1, click on the pop-out banner in the top right-hand corner of the screen to go to carwow. So then, my verdict on the new Audi A1. Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist it. Yeah, it might be a bit expensive, but it's a cool little car.
If you enjoyed this video, please like it, comment on it and share it. Also, click on our logo to subscribe to this channel. And if you click on the bottom right-hand corner, you can actually watch more of our content. Meanwhile, click over to the right to go to our deals page to see how much money you can save on a new car at carwow. Now, did you spot the Easter egg in this video? It was the A1 road on the car's sat nav.